Lena had always hated hotels, but after a long drive, she had no choice but to check into one. It wasn't a fancy place, but it looked clean enough. The reception area was quiet, with only the hum of the fluorescent lights above. The clerk gave her a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes, and handed her a key. Room 314 point. She didn't think much of it at first. The room was small but comfortable, with a bed, a desk, and a door that led to a bathroom. Lena unpacked quickly, then stretched out on the bed, hoping to get some sleep before her morning meeting. But as soon as she closed her eyes, something felt wrong. At first, it was the feeling of being watched. She tried to ignore it, thinking it was just her imagination. But then she noticed the sound. A low, rhythmic thud. It was coming from the walls, slow and steady like a heartbeat. Lena sat up, feeling uneasy. The thudding grew louder. She glanced at the clock. It was 3:17 a.m., too late to call the front desk, she thought. She tried to tell herself it was nothing, maybe just the pipes or the building settling. But then she heard it again, closer this time, like something was moving behind the walls. Her heart raced. She got up and walked over to the wall, pressing her ear to it. The thudding stopped. She stepped back, confused. Was it just in her head? But then it started again, louder this time. She froze. It wasn't a thud anymore, it was scratching. Soft, frantic, like something was trying to break through. It was coming from right behind the wall at the foot of her bed. Lena's breath caught in her throat. She turned to the door. It was locked. The room felt smaller, suffocating. She reached for her phone, but there was no signal. The scratching grew more desperate, faster now. Lena backed away, her mind racing. There was no way out, not unless she wanted to break through the wall, and even then, what would she find? The air turned cold. The scratching stopped abruptly. Then a soft voice, barely a whisper, filled the room. "Let me out." Lena's blood ran cold. She turned to the door, her hands shaking. It was locked, but somehow it felt wrong. Something was wrong with the lock, as if the room itself had changed. In a panic, she yanked the door open. The hallway was empty, but the moment she stepped outside, the door slammed shut behind her with a force that made her jump. When Lena returned to the front desk the next morning to check out, the clerk greeted her with the same cold smile. He handed her the receipt. "Room 314 is unavailable," he said, his voice strangely flat. "It hasn't been rented in years." Lena's heart stopped. There was no room 314 in the hotel. There never had been.